Ladies and gentlemen, people who change the world, they don't wait for the perfect moment. They create it. They don't stumble into success. They build it brick by brick with vision, belief, sweat, and fire. And if you want to achieve everything you dream of, everything, you need to understand this. Success isn't random. It's not luck. It's a process, a mindset, a way of living. The first secret, clarity. If your vision is blurry, your results will be too. You must know exactly what you want, why it matters to you, and how it will feel once you get it. Vague goals lead to vague lives. But the moment you commit to a vision so clear, it gives you goosebumps, that's when you become unstoppable. Next, belief. Not the kind that flickers when the world laughs at your dreams, but the kind that roars when everything goes dark. The world will doubt you. Good. Let them. Because belief isn't about proving anything to them. It's about proving everything to yourself, that you have what it takes, that you are what it takes. Now here's the part most people skip. Action. Bold, relentless, uncomfortable action. Dreams love movement. They respond to effort. Thinking is easy. Talking is easy. But it's action, daily, gritty, focused action, that pulls dreams out of the clouds and puts them into your hands. But what happens when the road twists? When your plan crumbles? That's when adaptability becomes your weapon. Winners don't resist change, they ride it. They study, they adjust, they evolve. The faster you learn, the faster you win. Life's not about being perfect, it's about being ready. Then, finally, persistence. Not the kind that's loud and flashy, but the kind that whispers, that keep going when no one's watching, when it hurts, when you're tired. When you feel like giving up, that's when you're closest to breakthrough. You don't stop at the wall, you become the force that breaks through it. So if you want it all, really want it, it's not about being the smartest or the fastest or even the most talented. It's about being the one who decides and then never backs down. Everything you want is already out there. The only question left is clarity of vision. Clarity is the birthplace of greatness. You cannot hit a target you cannot see. You cannot chase a dream that hasn't taken form. And you cannot build a life of meaning and impact if you're wandering through fog. Clarity is not just the first step on the journey to success. It is the foundation on which everything else stands. The most successful people in the world, whether they're inventors, artists, leaders, or entrepreneurs, aren't necessarily the most talented or the most lucky. But they always have one thing in common, a crystal clear vision. They know where they're going, they know what they want, and they know exactly why it matters to them. And that's where it begins, not with the how, but with the what and the why. What do you really want in life? Not what your parents want, not what society expects, not what sounds good on Instagram. What you truly want deep in your soul. It might be to build something revolutionary, or to travel the world, or to live a quiet life with deep purpose. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that it's yours, authentic, unfiltered, and honest. That's the kind of clarity that ignites your energy and focus like nothing else. Because once you truly know what you're aiming for, distractions lose their power. Noise fades. You stop chasing everything. Start moving toward one thing with laser-sharp focus. But here's the truth most people don't talk about. Clarity is not found. It's created, or comes from asking hard questions and being brave enough to hear the answers. It comes from making mistakes, learning from them, and refining your direction as you go. You don't need to have it all figured out today. But you do need to start asking yourself the right questions. What kind of life excites me? What kind of problems am I obsessed with solving? What does success look like? Feel like, sound like to me? The more vivid your vision, the more magnetic it becomes. Because clarity attracts. It pulls the right people toward you. It draws in the right opportunities. It creates momentum. People will feel your passion, your certainty, your conviction, and they'll want to be a part of it. And when challenges come, clarity becomes your compass. It keeps you steady when the storms hit. It reminds you of why you started when quitting seems easier. It helps you say no to the good so you can say yes to the great. Without clarity, you drift. With clarity, you drive. So take the time, get quiet. Reflect, write it down. Revisit it often, let your vision evolve, deepen, and expand, but never lose sight of it. Because when you are clear about what you want, every step you take, every risk you embrace, every moment of effort, it all starts to matter. And once you're clear, everything else becomes possible. Unshakable belief. There is a moment in every dreamer's journey when the world goes silent. No applause, no reassurance, no signs telling you you're on the right path. Just you, your vision, and a choice. Will you keep going even when no one believes in you? Because here's the truth most people won't say out loud. No one will believe in your dream the way you must. Not at first, not when it's still an idea, not when it's fragile, not when it's unproven. In fact, many will doubt you. Some will laugh. Others will pretend to support you, but secretly hope you fail because your courage reminds them of their own fear. That's why belief, unshakable belief, isn't a luxury, it's a requirement. You have to believe in yourself so deeply, so fiercely, so relentlessly, that the outside noise becomes irrelevant. Because belief is what fuels you when motivation fades. It's what holds you together when everything seems to be falling apart. It's the armor you wear into battle when the odds are stacked against you. And belief isn't about arrogance. It's not blind optimism either. Real belief is built. It's forged in the fires of discipline, repetition, and grit. You earn it by showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. If you want to achieve something extraordinary, you can't wait for validation. You can't wait for someone to say, "I believe in you." You say it to yourself. You say it again and again until your inner voice drowns out every doubt in the room. I believe I can do this. I believe I have what it takes. I believe this dream is mine to claim. And here's the wild part. When you start to believe, truly believe, something shifts. People notice. Energy changes. You carry yourself differently. You speak with more conviction. You move with more confidence. You stop asking for permission and start taking ownership of your path. Yes, you'll fall. Yes, you'll fail. That's part of the deal. But belief isn't about being perfect. It's about refusing to stay down. It's about knowing that every setback is a setup for a greater comeback. It's about trusting that the process will shape you into the person who's ready to receive everything you asked for. Some people spend their whole lives waiting for external proof before they believe. Don't be one of them. Don't put your power in someone else's hands. Be the one who believes first, before the evidence, before the praise, before the breakthrough. Because belief is the beginning of everything. Every invention, every masterpiece, every movement that's ever changed the world started with one person who said, "I believe this is possible," and then went out and proved it. So when the world is quiet, when the crowd disappears, when the lights go out, will you still believe? If the answer is yes, then there is nothing you can't become. Relentless action. There comes a moment when dreaming is no longer enough. When vision needs motion. When belief needs legs. When words must become work. That's the moment where everything changes. Not with a wish, not with a plan, but with action. Relentless, bold, unapologetic action. Too many people spend their lives stuck in the waiting room of success, waiting for the right time, the right mood, the right opportunity. They wait for confidence before they act. They wait for clarity before they move. But here's the truth. Confidence doesn't come before action, it comes from action. Clarity isn't found in stillness. It's forged in motion. You want to change your life? You want to build something legendary? Then stop waiting. Start moving. Start doing. Start failing forward. Because it's not about taking perfect steps. It's about taking persistent ones. You'll never have all the answers. You'll never feel 100% ready. And that's exactly why most people never start. They're too afraid of messy beginnings. But the people who win, they understand this. Action is the cure to fear. It silences doubt. It kills procrastination. It turns potential into progress. Look around. Everything you admire, every innovation, every empire, every success story you've ever heard started with someone who simply decided to act. Not with guarantees, not with certainty, but with courage. They didn't just think about the dream, they chased it. They didn't just talk about the idea, they built it. They didn't wait for doors to open, they kicked them down. Relentless action means showing up day after day, even when it's boring, even when it's hard, even when it feels like nothing is working. It means making moves when no one's clapping, pushing forward when no one's watching, working in the dark so you can shine in the light. And yes, you'll fail, you'll fall, you'll make mistakes, but every stumble teaches you something. Every setback builds resilience. Every failure is a stepping stone in disguise. The only real failure is the decision to stay still, Action creates momentum, and momentum creates miracles. Because once you start moving, life starts responding. Opportunities find you. People align with you. The path begins to reveal itself. But none of that happens without action. So whatever your goal is, start now, not tomorrow. Not when you feel inspired. Now, write the first page, make the first call. Launch the small version. Take the first step, however small or awkward or imperfect it may be. Because relentless action beats talent. It beats luck. It beats genius. It beats everything. You don't need to be the smartest. You don't need to be the fastest. But you do need to be the one who keeps moving forward, relentlessly. While others hesitate, you execute. While others dream, you do. While others fear, you fight. And that's how dreams become reality, one step at a time, fueled not by hope alone, but by action that never quits. Adaptability and learning. The world doesn't reward the rigid. It rewards the adaptable. In a world that's constantly changing, technology evolving, industries transforming, trends rising and falling, the people who thrive are not the ones who cling to what they know. They're the ones who learn, who adjust, who pivot without fear. Adaptability isn't weakness. It's not a lack of direction. It's your greatest competitive edge, because success isn't a straight line. It's a winding road with detours, roadblocks, and sudden turns. And if you're not willing to evolve, you'll get left behind. You can have the clearest vision, the strongest belief, and the boldest action. But if you're not learning along the way, if you're not willing to change when life demands it, you'll find yourself stuck while others soar. You must become a student of life, a relentless learner, someone who is more committed to growth than being right, more committed to progress than perfection. And that starts with humility. The humility to admit that you don't know it all. The humility to listen, to ask questions, to observe. Because the smartest person in the room is not the one with all the answers. It's the one who's still curious, still hungry, still willing to grow. When failure shows up, and it will, don't resist it. Learn from it. When something doesn't go according to plan, don't collapse, adjust. Be flexible in your approach, but unbreakable in your purpose. That's the mindset of a winner. Some people are so married to their plan, they miss the opportunities life is trying to hand them. But the ones who rise, they know that change isn't the enemy, it's the invitation. It's life saying, there's a better way. Are you bold enough to see it? Think about the greatest innovators. They didn't cling to the past. They redefined the future. They learned from every setback, every misstep, every moment that didn't go as expected. And they didn't stop learning, ever. And here's the truth. In today's world, if you stop learning, start losing. So read the books. Seek the mentors. Listen more than you speak. Learn the skills that scare you. Step into new environments. Get uncomfortable. Because every time you learn something new, you expand your power. You sharpen your vision. You make yourself more dangerous in the best way. Adaptability is not about changing who you are. It's about growing into the next version of yourself. A stronger, smarter, equipped version. One that can handle more, achieve more, be more. So embrace change. Run toward it. Let it refine you. Let it reveal what you're capable of. Because while others are stuck trying to make the old way work, you'll be creating something entirely new. And in that space, in that constant evolution, you'll find a kind of power that's unstoppable. Stay flexible. Stay learning. Stay dangerous. Purposeful persistence. The truth is, most people give up. Not because they aren't talented, not because they didn't want it, but because the road got hard and they didn't know how to keep going. That's where the difference is made. Not in the beginning, when everything is exciting. Not at the finish line, when the spotlight's on. The difference is made in the middle. In the messy, lonely, exhausting middle, where persistence lives. Not just any persistence. Purposeful persistence. Persistence without purpose is just punishment. You keep pushing, but you don't know why. You're grinding, but you're disconnected from the bigger picture. That's when people burn out. That's when they quit. But when you're fueled by purpose, when you know why you started, when your heart is tied to your vision, you become unstoppable. You don't just push through the pain. You grow through it. You don't just survive the struggle. You rise because of it. See? Persistence is not glamorous. It's not what gets the applause. It's the 5 a.m. wake-ups when no one's watching. It's staying late when others clock out. It's hearing a no 100 times and still showing up like the next one will be a yes. It's falling down and getting back up so many times people lose count. But you don't, because you never lost the reason you started. The world has taught us to crave quick wins, fast success, overnight fame. But anything truly worth having, anything that lasts, is earned, brick by brick, with patience, with pain, with passion. And that's where purpose steps in. Purpose keeps you moving when progress is slow. Purpose reminds you who you are when self-doubt screams louder than reason. Purpose gives meaning to the grind and direction to the chaos. People will tell you to quit, that it's too hard, that it's taking too long. But they don't see what you see. They don't feel what you feel. That fire in your gut, that's purpose. That quiet voice that says, one more try, that's purpose. That belief that something incredible is waiting on the other side of the struggle, that's purpose. And with that kind of purpose, your persistence becomes powerful. You'll become the kind of person who doesn't back down when it's hard, who doesn't fold when life gets loud, who doesn't retreat when the dream feels far away. You'll become someone who finishes, not because it was easy, but because you were anchored. Every mountain you face is shaping your strength. Every delay is deepening your determination. Every struggle is strengthening your spirit. So stay with it. Stay in the fight. Keep showing up, even when the results haven't caught up to the effort. Because persistence isn't about being fearless. It's about moving forward in spite of fear. It's about trusting that every step, no matter how small or painful, is part of the story that will one day inspire others to keep going too. And when you do make it, and you won't just be proud of what you achieved. You'll be proud of who you became along the way. That's purposeful persistence. That's what changes everything.